Well, I should probably turn on the camera first. Hello, hello, everyone. Wow, professional. Professional. All right, give me a moment. We'll hop over to the new camera in the meantime, as I set up my actual main camera, like the pro that I am. One moment. Pro streamer, yes, that is me. Wow, man. I've got all of my, not just a little bit, I've got all of my shit together. You know, when I just messaged in the chat, gotta fix my trash can, I meant my brain. Okay. All right, there we go. We live. Well. Pretend like none of that happened. I just turned on the stream with no issues whatsoever. Welcome, everyone. I think today is day 105 of the stream. So, yeah, we're solidly in the hundreds. Kavai says, pro streamer, this is the only type of Christmas music I approve. Yeah, this is the only Christmas song I could find. And it's the only Christmas-y song that I personally approved on my playlist. So yes, we're on the same wavelength there. Welcome, everyone. Elle said, Elle was here earlier with the duck wave. Thank you. And Elle was on my co-working stream before. So thanks for hopping back in. Same with you, Kavai. Thank you very much, Kavai, too, for the hype. Oh man, my hair is getting annoying right now. So 10 stream streak, says L. Yo, good on ya, good on ya. I think Kavai might have the highest streak right now. I forget, I don't know where I can see those numbers, but either way, I appreciate both of you guys. I appreciate all of you guys, obviously, for your supports. Now, today's going to be a shorter stream-ish, probably like 2 hours or so. Right now it's 7 p.m. my time. So I'm thinking roughly around 9:30ish, I should probably end the stream because I need to clean my room. I have to basically make it as cat-free as possible because tomorrow's going to be a fun day. I got my buddy, actually, I don't know if you can see him from here. Yeah, he's working in the background right now, but yeah, it looks like I might be getting some new ink. Okay, some new ink on the body. I'm super excited. It's been over 2 years since I got any new ink work done. So yeah, so it seems like tomorrow may be a fun day for me, which means I might not be streaming tomorrow. I would love to stream it live, but there's a few things about Dubai that you just got to be mindful of. So I will not disclose where we're going to go to get this done, but it's going to be very fun. Kavai says 28. Holy crap. Wait, Kavai, how does that work, by the way? Or I guess, I don't know, Elle, if you might know as well. If I do 2 streams a day, does that mean if you guys have to catch both of them, otherwise the streak will end? In which case I should be mindful of that, because obviously I don't... Yeah, that's a bit much to expect people to turn on my stream if I'm streaming multiple times. But then what happens if your stream cuts out? Anyways, let me know. Or is it like a 24-hour type thing? Like if you hopped onto someone's stream at least once within 24 hours, does that keep the streak going? What's up, Swiss Army Cinema says, you won't be streaming, you will be screaming. No, dude, I'm a big boy, okay? Actually, the most painful... Yeah, my friend just laughed. The most painful tattoo I've ever gotten was on my back. And it was... I think it was like a 2 to 3 day session. I think I ended up with 4 total sessions, if I'm not mistaken. Because my whole back is inked. And, you know, I started with the upper back, and then the same artist did some stuff on the lower back. And that required, I think, 2 to 3 days to finish, including the color on my back. But unfortunately, I think on the second session or third session, essentially I got some infection on my back. Because you can imagine, it's like an open wound, especially when you're getting inked. What is it? I think I was doing like average 10 hours per day. It was like long, full day tattoo sessions. And so unfortunately, I attribute it to maybe, since I have some cats, and maybe some cat hair got in. It's not the easiest to, you know, you basically saran wrap yourself, but you can't fully block it off because you're going to get inked up the next day. And so I think at some point in there, I got a little bit of an infection. So imagine getting inked on top of the infection without knowing you have an infection, it was like brutal. Like, you know, you're seeing white flashes, you know, you're blinded by the light essentially. So no, it shouldn't be that. It won't be a repeat of that. Nick, or Knees Vestin, or Symbol Supply, he's just hanging out over there. He does like the hand poking style, which I think by nature it's supposed to be much softer. It's supposed to be less painful. He's done 2 of my ink work on my shoulders, and they were painless, so without any pain. But yeah, because you imagine like a tattoo gun, it's like, you know, it's like a machine gun just scraping your skin 1,000 times per second or whatever. Whereas with the hand poking, it's much calmer, you know, more relaxed. So looking forward to it. Might know what's as ill L. Kavai says, I think we only have to watch every day, but there are instances where I lost a streak because someone streamed for 10 minutes. I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, that shouldn't happen. It's not like I'm streaming only for 10 minutes. I was more concerned if, like, what happens if yeah, imagine a situation where you turn on the stream, it gets disconnected, and so then a new stream pops up, and then, you know, if you keep getting reconnected and disconnected, do you really have to be tuning into each one of them? And then also that will be kind of gaming the system, because then you can end up ballooning up to like 100 streak. Okay, so yeah, anyways, I think I've answered my own question. Elle says, if the stream crash and reset, the streak can reset. Oh, okay, well maybe not. Can we see the lenses on the shelf that's out of focus? Yes, of course. I did swap out one of the lenses though. So basically, also I need a lens cap for this. It's a few of my, listen, I'm not like you, Elle. I don't have a crazy number of lenses. I just got my modest amount. So from left to right, basically, I have a few F lenses for the DSLR. Elle says, I'm at work, so I'll head out again. No worries. Thanks again for hopping in for the second time. Appreciate it. So I got my, I think that's like a 21.8 over here. No, this is 21.8. This might be 51.4 for the F mount lenses, the DSLRs. And then in the back is my 85mm f1.2. The tall one in the middle is my 70-200 for the F mount, or the, you know, the DSLRs for Nikon. Then we just got another shitty lens over here, I think. I don't know, it's like a 50 or 20 something for the F mounts. And then the big one is the 70-200 f2.8 for the Z series, the S lens. And then in terms of the cameras in use, right now here is my 24-70 f2.8 lens. For my the new view, my cat over here, which I need to update the focus point. Give me a second. Also, I'm heating up real quick. Let me turn up. There we go. Okay. Sorry, I'm back. I overheat so quickly, so I gotta turn on all these fans near me, especially with the hair down. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, we got some new cameras set up, so that's what I spent today doing during my co-working session. So thank you, those of you who hopped in while I was just doing work. There's a few things I do need to still update here. So for example, on this screen, you can see my camera. Since I've now updated the positioning of them, I just got to reposition how they look above me. And I'm wondering, I might even, instead of doing this square format, although this kind of looks cool when Kimbap's standing like this, not gonna lie. So either I'm gonna maintain the square format and just readjust it, or I'm gonna do the same thing as I do on the other cameras where it's like a wide angle. So I just need to update them, just get them in position. But the other thing that we were able to get done yesterday was I finally have my home setup looking good as well. So we got the lower shelf with Mr. Steampunk, although there's a bit of a flicker. So let me see. What do I need to do to fix the flicker effect? Oh, yeah. It's because... No. Alright, so it's the same camera, although this time I changed my camera settings as well. So before I was shooting at 6400 ISO. I've dropped it down to 800. I took the ND filter off. But now, as part of that, the flicker is here. So I'm curious if I maybe move this back to the 180-degree shutter angle. I wonder if it'll fix the flicker. Hold on. Flicker's still there. I don't know how much this affects. So obviously it's getting darker. I don't know how much it affects the motion blur. Swiss is asking, do you have extended shutter speed enabled so you can dial in the flicker? I do not. I should turn. I have the auto flicker, but not the extended. I was hoping not to use that. Although this is, this is good experimentation because I haven't played around with shutter angle to this extent before. So let me bring the camera closer until I can get this fixed. Nice, we get to do a little behind the scenes of getting this set up. So let me just bring it back to 180 for now. And then... Oh, one of the benefits of this ZR is because it has the full articulating screen. Now I can technically, for the most part, we'll see where it fails, but I can do all the adjustments without having to flip the camera around. So what do we need to do? I have to go to the menu. So we have our flicker reduction, but now it seems like we need to go into the... Where is that? Oh no, the high frequency is deactivated. How come it's deactivated? I'm in H.265. Yeah, I'm curious why in this mode I'm not able to... Maybe I have to turn off auto? No, I don't have much options here. Alright, this sounds like something I need to Google. Swiss says, I see the flicker also on your cabinets behind you. Yeah, so that's the main one, and then yeah, on both sides basically. We had fixed it yesterday because I put an ND filter. I had the ND filter on. Everything else is the same. Shooting at 30 frames per second. Yesterday I was in ISO 6400 with the ND filter, and I was shooting at shutter angle 107 point something, and it fixed the flicker. The only change I made today is I took the ND filter off. I dropped it from 6400. I dropped it to 800 ISO, and then yeah, and now the flicker's here. So I'm curious. I don't know what causes that, but yeah, we're like a mad scientist. We're gonna figure this out. Let's ask a question of Google in the meantime. I am shooting Nikon ZR in H.265 SDR, but I'm seeing the flicker reduction. What do you call it? Oh my god. Flicker reduction or high frequency. High frequency flicker reduction is grayed out. What to do? Kavai says, oh, asking L, have you seen the photos of all L's lenses? Oh wait, did he send something in the Discord? Let's check this out. Oh, maybe not. Okay. In Dubai, your flicker should be set to 50 hertz, since that is your national power grid standard. Here in USA, it's 60 hertz. Oh, thank you very much. I didn't realize that. So let's go ahead and change that. Although I'm assuming maybe it is choosing the wrong one. Let's see. I still see a flicker, although it could just be it seems to be better. But I don't know if that's just bias. The high frequency flicker reduction option is likely grayed out because of other conflicting camera settings, such as the selected shutter type, release mode, or the camera's current shooting. Oh, okay, so I have to switch it off from shutter. Maybe I have to switch it from shutter angle to shutter speed, possibly. Let's see. Where are you? It might be in a different setting mode, I forget. Yeah, maybe it's in video settings. There it is. Okay, so if I switch to the shutter speed, I'm hoping the flicker reduction... There we go. Cool, cool. All right. Now let's try to dial it in. So we're shooting at 30 frames per second. Right now it's at 64. Swiss says it's better, but now it's shutter. Yeah. So okay, I think we should now be able to do our manual adjustment. Oh my god, I'm trying to work around this microphone. Nope. I would try 172. Oh yeah, okay, let me try doing this in shutter speed mode first. And then if it doesn't work, then I'll switch back to shutter angle. And I will try dropping it down to 172. Yesterday when I was on 172, it was still an issue. I had to drop it down to like 108. And then the flicker disappeared. So we're gonna do a little we'll figure this shit out. Man, I am heating up so quickly. Alright, so flicker. Still there, subtly. Alright, this is what we call the heart of the cards. No, I did not fix it. Oh, I can only drop it to 60. I can only increase it. Okay, fine. I mean, the alternative also is usually when I shoot at 50 frames per second, or sometimes if I'm in 25 frames per second, or like a 25 frame rate or whatever, that seems to solve it as well. Come on, buddy. But now there's going to be a lot of Swiss says, I think it's also your frame rate of 30. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could drop it back to 24. I could drop it back. Excuse me, Nala. You see it pulsing, and this is that is frame rate of capture. Okay. Fair enough. I wonder if I can drop it. Let's say if I bring it to 24. The only issue is I think I need to make some changes in OBS. I don't know if it'll allow me to. I might have to restart OBS, or I can only make those changes after the fact, but let's see. So let me go back to shutter angle. Actually, before I do that, let's so we're gonna switch it to 24 frames per second. And then yeah. So while that solved it, now we're getting a bit too much brightness here, obviously. So the question is, do I put that ND filter back on, or do we just go ahead and maybe drop the ISO? Let's just try dropping the ISO for now. Okay. I think this is good. Thank you very much, Swiss. I appreciate the IT support. As you can see, it's desperately needed on my channel. All right, I think this placement is Gucci. Here, let's slightly tilt just a little bit. There we go. Okay, and this is our setup. So thank you. Looks good. I have this issue a lot in OR rooms, so I am used to fixing that. Yo, thank you. Man, flicker is like one of the most annoying things. Yeah, even with these like auto flicker reduction and stuff, it doesn't always seem to work perfectly. So I do appreciate that very much. So with that out of the way, so what I was saying is that there's a few changes I made. So including here, I need to decide with the cameras that you see above me, do I maintain this kind of square ratio, or do I do like a wide angle? The problem is if I do the wide angle, it obviously will take up more height, which then means I just don't have as much space for whatever's above it. Now doing the wide angle obviously has a nice cinematic feel to it, especially with my cats, because usually they're 9 out of 10 times they're going to be sleeping when they're there. So like having a thin strip could actually work nicely. But then having a kind of like a portrait size one isn't the worst thing in the world. I'm not sure. Versus once we hop into these areas, I need to update these guys just a bit. Yo, thank you very much. Yo, Photo Elite is rating with a party of 4. Hells yeah, thank you very much, Photo. And by the way, thank you for doing that, because you got to see my new alerts pop up. Oh, yeah, you can't see my finger. Thank you very much, Photo. I appreciate that. It's a Chris Raid. Boo says now. Oh, it's Naoiko. I remember you. Welcome back. Yo, what's up, Low Bass? I like the widescreen format. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and change that. 15-minute stream because stuff popped up that I need to go deal with. Yo, I appreciate it, Photo. As always, shout out to Photo Elite because he is one of the OGs. The amount of tech support you've given me and provided me in the past since I streamed is insane. So thank you very much. I appreciate you. Yeah, bringing your followers, your supporters over here. Naoiko says, Kitty, yes, gotta rush. Thank you, Photo. Enjoy. Yes, now, this is, I just set up this camera for a Kimbap over here. I'm using a 50mm lens, f1.2. Actually, I don't know what the it's at f2. And then, of course, we've got cat number 2 over here, Nala. So Nala's chilling. She's got the steampunk vibes going on. We got our very own Mr. Steampunk. We haven't come up with a name for him. But yesterday, I spent some time trying to put the stream together. Yo, thank you. Those emotes look great. Speaking of which, I got some new emotes. I am super happy with it. Yes, thank you very much for testing them out, Low Bass. Shout out to this artist, MHEBN on Fiverr. I reached out to him, an amazing artist. He was able to put all these alerts and emotes and badges together for me. So yeah, I'm super stoked. We've been making some improvements to the stream. So I'm just taking a look at each of the camera views to see what do I need to change. So for example, here, Let's see if I can use my finger to show. Over here, yeah. So this camera looks great. So Kimbap over there in the corner, that looks very cinematic to see him popped up there. And then I'm just my typical self right here, although my head gets cropped a little bit, but well, who cares? Who's really paying attention there? So I think this looks good. Swiss says, I need to get me a steampunk dude for my storage unit. Maybe I'll decorate my new office with a drone steampunk vibe. Yo, I'm a big fan of this guy. I got it from creativelighting.com, something like that. So I wish they would give me an affiliate link or something, because this thing is so badass. Now, having said that, the other thing that I got made from Creative Lighting, a bit disappointing. It was like a cat lamp, but the lighting is so weak that it doesn't even look like it's lit. So you don't see it right now on my setup. I'll figure out what to do with it. I haven't decided. And then, yeah, so like we said, I need to adjust these two cameras over here so that they fit both my cats. So let's go ahead and do that now. Is there another one I need to fix? Oh, another fun thing. I don't know if I set it up here. Actually, let's test it. Spawn? No, I gotta bring it over from the other chat. So I started doing these Pomodoro sessions, and as part of that, so you can see here the cameras look good. So I should just copy these over. And if you look right above me, I found this guy on Etsy who makes these little it's almost like Pokemons, right? You can have your own character, and I guess other people can spawn their own as well. And it's like randomized in terms of which ones you get. And I happened to get a cat one. And I was like, yo, that's badass. So anyways, he hops in. There's a few commands for it. I'm still learning, so just ignore it for now. Right now, I just need to bring in a few things. I need to bring in the two cameras on the bottom. Z6 III and that one. Let's copy it over. Let's go to our main camera view. Oh yeah, I guess I should put my cats on this screen as well, right? Okay, let's figure out where to place them. But there's no reason I shouldn't have these guys somewhere. I'll just put it here for now until I figure out what to do with it. Now for the editing, so here we're going to make another change. Oh, interesting. I guess we could feed it into the bottom. Technically, it could work here. I'm not sure. Let's just drag these over. I'm gonna hide these for now. Let's see if we can just bring it above each other. See if it stacks. Okay, it kind of works. Let's see. Let's just extend this guy a bit. Oh shoot, is this as much as it goes? Dang it. Okay, so then I need to increase the size. Okay, you know what? I'll do the fine tuning later, but I guess this is option number one, is I kind of stack all three cameras in the landscape mode. Yeah, you know what? I think we stick this way. Now, the only thing is maybe later on, after the stream, I'll consider, like, maybe I need to put those two cameras in the bottom instead of having it there. So, yeah, we'll see about that. Swiss said, yeah, sorry. Swiss, you mentioned the drone steampunk vibe. Yo, that would be something epic, for sure. Is there another one I need to fix? Let me see. Cat camera left. Oh, yeah, we need to fix these as well. So let me go to the... So let me grab these two cameras in the bottom. Z63, no, cat desk, and this one. Then we'll go to cat cam 1. We'll delete these. We'll copy and paste. Okay, now that's good. Although there's a little bit of overlap with the music widget. Alright, cat camera 2, how does it look? Yeah, it looks good. Alright, cool. Oh yeah, and then I need to turn the chat box back on. So I'm just doing a bit of maintenance here. Chat box. Cool. Alright, we're vibing. We got it all done. And like I said, I think here I just need to figure out where to put these two cameras. It kind of looks weird. I feel like these should belong in the black bar strip. Kind of how we have in the others. Instead of overlapping with the camera itself. So... Swiss says, check Discord, curious to for your thoughts on my nearly finished clean ZR build out. Ooh, okay, hold on. Hold on a minute. We gotta check this out. Yeah, okay, I'm just gonna leave these two guys there for now. Let's go to the Discord. Oh yeah, and if you guys want to join the Discord, let me go ahead and pop it in. ! Discord. Feel free to join our community there. Swiss had sent something over. Let's check it out. Let's go to editing mode. All right, let's check this out. So this is from Swiss Army. This is your setup now with the ZR. Yo, that's insane. All right, I need to. So basically, I need to reach out to you when I ever need to do something like this, which could be soon. We mentioned we're gonna start doing these wildlife stuff next year. Okay, so help me understand, because I've heard this term DTAP quite a bit. Is this like a battery pack, essentially? Like, is this what people use? The pros use this to attach batteries? That's my assumption, but yeah. But then here you can't access the screen. So is that, do you have it flipped out? I see. So you flip out the screen first, so you can view it from the side. And then I'm just gonna guess that the DTAP thing is the battery. Then you have these like little clamps. I was learning a little bit about how you should, especially with the HDMI, the micro HDMI and stuff like that, you should have like a short micro HDMI to HDMI cable and have it clamped to the small rig. And I guess the reasoning for it is it's a flimsy cable to begin with, but then also if your cable ever gets caught, it won't damage your ports. It'll just put the tension on like the cage or the smaller cable, something like that. Low Base says that is either a camera setup or a war crime. Hey, it could be both. Could be both. The Condor Blue. Oh wait, that's the one. So we got Beatty in the chat. I think Beatty had mentioned that Condor is one of those that are kind of shunned from some of the filmmaking space just because they have a bad reputation or something. That's all I know. Oh, you got the little cat, what do you call the earmuffs? Not the earmuffs, the wind muffs on there. I need to do something similar for that. Low Base says touche. Kavai says on Twitch. Hold on, did I miss something? D-tap, D or P-tap? The P-tap, that's great. The connector looks like a D hence the name. Okay, I guess I didn't see that. I just see it as a block. D-tap is just a standard power connector, normally runs 16.8 volts output. Kavai says on Twitch. What is on Twitch? I missed your first message. I'm not sure what the first message was. Swiss, and if I need to disconnect, I'm putting the wear on the full-size HDMI, not the micro. Gotcha. Yeah, so you keep the micro fixed, and then you do all kinds of plugging in and out using the other cable. It's comfortable handle. Who cares about the rep? Fair enough. Fair enough. Listen, I also don't care. I'm just learning. Okay, I'm just passing along information. I have no, I guess, loyalties to any of these brands. But yeah, most likely I'll just be using small rig for most things, is my assumption. So you got this Nitsi. It's like a side handle. Damn, this thing's intense. At the same time, it looks intense, but it also looks like it's probably very comfortable. Like, it looks somewhat ergonomic. So you've clearly thought through, like, balancing it out, putting the monitor where it is. So I'm assuming it's actually fun to film with this. Okay, so this D-tap. Low base says, since you have no loyalties, I assume you're about to tell us how great Canon is. I'm just going to ignore that. Powered by small rig, 50 watts. What is watt? WH, is that watt hertz? I have no idea. The V mount. This can power a follow focus motor for me, as well as my Pyro 5 monitor that sends a video feed to my team. Okay. It's easy to swap between 16:9 and 9:16 formats too. Using what? Oh, because of your the handles or the mounts. Blink twice if you're being held hostage. Yeah, thank you, man. Watt hour. Oh yeah, you guys explained this to me last time. I forgot. Watt hour. Okay. So let's say if we have this kind of setup for my wildlife streams, right? Once we get this rigged up for a Jeep Safari, and I want the... let's imagine I have at least 2 ZRs hooked up to the Jeep, and the ZR is going to be micro HDMI clamped to the cage to an HDMI connecting into a Nanook or a Pelican case, which has the switcher, the mini PC, the power banks, everything, the Rode or DJI mics, all inside this kind of case, right? Would the D-tap thing be necessary? Or if it's just being powered with like a dummy battery, since it's not going to be like taken out of the Jeep, right? So it's kind of like in a fixed position, even though it's in a moving vehicle. I'm assuming you don't need a D-tap or something like that, because is that just for like when you just need extra power, extra juice, when you're out and about? A normal Nikon ZR battery has about 16 watt hours to compare, so it can run the ZR and monitor on the 50 watt hour for about 3 hours before needing a change, or charge or change. Okay. Okay. Man, so exciting. Oh, and then I don't know if Fed will be tuning in today or not, but I know Fed yesterday said he was going out to do his first like proper film shoot, or like a project type thing with some friends with the ZR. So man, we're gonna get to see this. We're turning into a proper Z army. We gotta coin that. It's still, I gotta do like a hashtag Z army. Does that look good? Let me see. Hashtag Z army. It doesn't look bad. Maybe you have to do it like a hashtag Z capitalized Z army. No, I take it back. I don't know. You're going to need the 99 watt hour V mounts to run your Starlink dish. I was getting about 3 hours of runtime per 99 watt hour battery. Oh, you know, the other thing I was going to say is like, I do want to test out doing like voice calls and video calls from Discord. But I think when I tried doing a voice call with one of you guys last time, it might have been L. What happened? It wouldn't connect. So I don't know if it's like because I'm in Dubai. I wonder if I need to put on like a VPN or something. It could be one of those annoying... Dubai is really annoying about that. They basically wanted to promote their own like government run video calling company. I forget what it's called. It was so annoying. So they blocked, you know, FaceTime, WhatsApp video calls, Skype. I don't know what other stuff people use. Strangely, Google Meet works though. So you have to be on VPN to get it to work. So I think for some reason, when someone tried to do a voice call with me previously, or if you hopped into the voice call lounge in my Discord, it wouldn't actually connect. There's something wrong. So I'm just going to guess it's that, but Yeah. Anyways. Dun, dun, dun. Oh yes, but yeah, Swiss. Basically, I just wanted to pick your brain about the Starlink dish. How did it operate in Uganda? My understanding is Starlink operates in Uganda. If I remember, let me double check again. Starlink availability. Lobe says that is a weird spelling of Canon King. Yeah. Kavai says hashtag ZArmy is a good idea. To be honest. Thank you very much. Thank you very... You know, sometimes this noggin comes out with just pure genius, pure ideas. Yesterday's amazing idea, besides saying ZArmy, was a movie or a TV show that I'm going to pitch called The White Glove Society. It's going to be the stupidest plot, but yeah, shout out to Beatty for telling me there's something called The White Glove Society, where it's just basically the most professional couriers in the world who can deliver whatever you need in record time wherever you are in the world. So I just finished an 8-hour production day monitoring drone data, FPV feed, and team comms that was being streamed via Starlink from Mammoth Mountain back to me in New York. Damn, that's so crazy. Cali to New York. Wow. Well, basically what I wanted to test out, and I think I need to restart my... Something is frozen. Give me a second. I need my display screen. Restart capture. There we go. It was frozen. Swiss says incredibly well if you give it a good view of the sky. Oh, you know, by the way, before I forget, Kavai, yeah, I think the hashtag ZArmy, I should put that. Yeah, we need to run with it because we do have a number of ZR users in this community, and I feel like that is a very unique thing. I hope. So you guys are all team hashtag ZArmy, and a few of you Canon gangs, I'll allow it. Low base. Swiss says incredibly well if you give it a good view of the sky. I had the best data rates when I mounted it flat on the roof of the Land Cruiser. And by the way, Swiss, did you have like a mobility plan, or you were just using your... I need to look into this actually a bit more. I don't know the differences between all the various Starlink plans, but I'm assuming you weren't using like a mobility plan. I'm assuming you're just using whatever the standard plan is. And I'm curious, if that is true, are you saying you had pretty solid, stable connection throughout? You said you were getting 300 Mbps download and then 35 upload with 98% uptime or whatever. That's pretty good. You had the best data rates when mounted flat on the roof of the Land Cruiser. Okay. On a 12-hour drive from the mountains of Bwindi to the capital, unlimited data roam. It's $170 per month. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. Let's go to... And is it a business plan or a personal plan? Sorry, I'm like prying so much here, but this is all important. Guys, I swear this is important because next year I am definitely going to be doing some travel IRL live streams. I've had a number of really good calls and conversations in the past few days, and I think it's very promising. I think I'm actually going to be able to lock this down as like a project pilot ongoing thing that I do next year with a number of key partners. So this won't be like just me personally trying to make this happen, which would cost tens of thousands of dollars to maintain. But instead, I think with the right partnerships, I might be able to do this in a very consistent manner, in a very manageable way, while maintaining a really high level of professionalism. So this is why I still have a lot more research to go. So thank you very much, Swiss Army. Thank you everyone else who's provided inputs throughout. I'm just trying to check here. Swiss says personal. Okay, yeah, this is excellent information because it's like, in some ways, yes, I can go all the way to the top end, get one of the business plans with the high end, whatever. But if you're saying you used a personal plan and you had like a standard or unlimited data roam plan, is that good enough? Right? And then if it's good enough, that's good to know. But then if there's one tier above that, that's also good to know. So let me see. When not on a job, I just pause the service for $5 a month, and then you upgrade when I need to get. Oh, that was the other question I had, which is like, yeah, so what happens on the off time? Can you like pause your subscription? Because yeah, obviously it doesn't make sense to spend a shit ton of money if you're not traveling where it's needed. So let's see. Pay as you go. Gotcha. They answered the question. This is what I'm trying to look into. Use Starlink in motion. In motion use is supported with all our roam service plans. So let me double check on that. So I make the client pay for the rental of my dish and the data that month. That makes sense. So basically you would need, can I use Starlink in motion? Starlink supports in motion at speeds up to 450 miles per hour. Let me click on authorized locations. Beyond those speeds, I don't need beyond that speed. So Roam Unlimited, that's the one that Swiss has during projects. It even has an ocean mode, which was like such a eye-opener to me. I was like, holy shit. Because just as a quick little FYI, 2 other things that I'm looking at doing, it wouldn't just be Jeep safaris, actually 3 things. Swiss says, I was on dirt roads driving at 140 kph and had perfect service. Oh man, that is like music to my ears. Because also I do want to do this in Uganda as well. Because I can imagine going to Queen Elizabeth National Park or Murchison Falls and then being able to live stream from those parks. But then the Holy Grail is trying to get this to work in Kenya, in like, you know, like doing like the Great Migration, you know, like those kind of areas, right? Let's see, includes the same, stay connected, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I don't need the ocean mode. Supported hardware. So I would assume, ideally, especially if I can get a budget for this, ideally I should get the max latest version. So the Starlink Performance Gen 3. All right, so here's where I need to pay attention. For consumer land and boating use, visit Starlink Roam, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Starlink, okay. Coverage in local territorial waters and in motion for land is contingent on government approval. Starlink is available for use in international waters around the globe. Gotcha. In motion use of Starlink is prohibited on land and allowed for maritime in the following regions: Colombia, Costa Rica, Japan, Jordan, Malaysia, Mexico, Spain, Korea, Indonesia. Fair enough. Some of those markets I do want to hit up at some point, but understood. Starlink for territorial waters or in motion land use is available in the following countries. Swiss says, if you wanted bulletproof service, I would have bonded LTE and Starlink all ran into a GLI router and have dual DNS, so both internet connections can be accessed via the one router. Or even more bulletproof, LTE with dual Starlink dishes, one on each side of the car, but that increases cost. Yeah. Well, tell me, Swiss, because I think one of the things that I might be able to hopefully offset cost, potentially, is utilizing like a TVU or a live U. So let's go with the TVU. My understanding is the TVU kit would allow me to essentially do the bonding of cell service. So imagining if I had like 4 to 5 SIMs linked in, and then, yeah, up to 2 Starlinks, let's say, but even just with the 1 Starlink and the cell bonding, that was kind of my ideal plan, is having both of those techs connected in some way. So then if the Starlink fails, then the cell bonding could kick in. But then some of the places I would be doing this would have 0 coverage. So like 0 cell coverage. Starlink works basically worldwide, but may not be legally enabled. Yeah, so I want to stay within the boundaries of the law. I'm not trying to cause issues. So in terms of this list of countries, the ones that had stuck out to me, let's zoom in, is number 1, Kenya. Because this obviously is in my region. There's a lot of brands like Nikon that I work with that also work with partners in Kenya. So this would be an ideal starting point. Madagascar could be interesting. Maybe. Actually, no. Let's scratch that. So let's say Kenya. Interesting. Bulgaria could work. I have one of my clients at this point. He's a friend of mine, but you know, he's starting as like clients, let's say. One of the people that has traveled with me on a number of trips now, as a client as well as a friend, like a fellow photographer. He's from Bulgaria, and he's been inviting me to go visit there because they have a number of wildlife, including some like photography hides for like some of the coolest vultures and some other wildlife that you can spot. So that could be fun to live stream from the hide. Swiss says GLI makes awesome tiny travel routers. Hold on, let me type this out. GLI router versus TVU dual DNS versus TVU. I just gotta, it's not a good comparison, but I just gotta write it out so I don't forget. Canada. Oh, here we go. Mongolia. So Mongolia would obviously be another place I want to go. Now you're talking like open skies. Like the place that I went to in the Altai Mountains. I forget the name of it. Holy shit. Point is, when I was in the deep parts of Mongolia, where the eagle hunters are, you got clear skies. There is no terrain. It's just like open. It's like being on Mars kind of a thing. So that would be a perfect place to test out a Starlink unit. My only issue is, yeah, like traveling with it and all that kind of fun stuff. Oh yeah, Swiss, that's the other issue I have, is Dubai, UAE, is not enabled for Starlink. So then the issue I have is, number one, if I order a Starlink, it doesn't deliver to Dubai, or it's not one of the options. And number two, even if I were to get access to the Starlink eventually, I would not be able to travel home with it, is my assumption, because maybe customs would flag it and then confiscate, or I don't know. So that is one of the issues, is like, unfortunately, UAE is not part of this map. So then I don't know how I could travel with it. It would either mean if I have a team and someone has one out in an available location, they travel with it, or if I'm working with different lodges or operators in different countries, they would need to have the Starlink. And if they don't have one, I have to purchase it, I guess, but they're holding on to it. I don't know. It does become a bit complicated, but yeah. Swiss says dual DNS is just a technical way you're combining two internet sources. It's just like, it's like having two bowls of soup in front of you and you have the choice to eat from either. Okay. Cayman Islands. No. So we got Kenya, Mongolia. Costa Rica would be pretty interesting. I have a good connect, or like someone, amazing content creator, photographer, and all that. I would love to visit him because he set up something in Costa Rica. But for now, let's say Mongolia, or sorry, Kenya, Mongolia. I'm trying to stay somewhere in Africa, Asia, you know, close to Dubai-esque in my region. Norway, shout out to all the Norwegians in the chat. So that one for sure. So let's say Kenya, Mongolia, Norway. Finland, yes, because they have some wildlife hides with like the bears and the wolves and stuff. That would be fun to see if we can do a live stream. Although the issue would become that it snows a lot, right? So then if the Starlink gets covered by snow, I wonder, maybe it shouldn't make a difference. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it handles like negative some odd degrees. Kavai says F. F question mark? Oh, Finland maybe? Or I don't know what the F stands for. My best friend's mother lives in Costa Rica. Well, thank you for sharing such knowledge. I'm going to put this in the back of my head. Swiss's best friend's mother lives in Costa Rica. Who knows when I'll need to use that bit of knowledge. Thank you. Swiss says, I want to do a drone shoot in the Faroe Islands. Oh, that would be good too. Starlink has a built-in heater for snow. Oh, shit. Okay. Now, does it have a built-in defense system against a bear? A curious bear. Oh, Rwanda's here. Okay, so wait, I thought Uganda wasn't on this list. Oh, yeah. So, Swiss, I guess that was my other question. I was second guessing myself. So, Uganda's not on this list, but you didn't have any issues, Swiss? So what did we say? Kenya, Mongolia, Norway, Finland. Rwanda. Sri Lanka could be fun, but the problem is the types of jeeps, like the wildlife safaris, it's going to be in forested areas, so you're going to be covered by tree canopies a lot, so it might not be the best. Greece could be interesting. I have a close friend out here in Dubai who's from Greece, and I've been meaning to go there for those crazy birds. What are the birds called in Greece? What are the migratory large birds in Greece for wildlife photography? Yes, the Dalmatian pelican. Dalmatian pelican. So this is like, you know, it goes viral every once in a while on Instagram from like people doing some close-up shots of this bird. So that could be kind of fun to do a shoot for. But I don't know what else is in Greece besides this. So it could just be like a lot of dead air. You know, it might be boring besides just trying to capture this one bird. I'm not sure. But it is a cool ass bird. So it's not the worst thing. F is internet slang for something unfortunate, but on Twitch used for lag crashes. F this time was minor. Oh, was I lagging? Thank you for letting me know. Whoops. Let me just check my stream. Okay, so right now it seems okay, but I appreciate you telling me. Okay. Starlink lets you be in country even if not enabled for 60 days before they complain. Oh, schnapples. Shit. That's crazy. Okay. That's an interesting workaround. So that could mean there's a few more markets that are open to me. Let me write these down though. So Kenya, Mongolia, Norway, Finland, Rwanda. I'll put Uganda with a question mark. And I guess you are living proof, Swiss. So thank you very much. This is honestly invaluable. So the fact that you were able to fly with the Starlink without any issues is good to know. And also having it operate is also good to know. So Uganda, let's keep looking. Greece is, I guess, a question mark, but let's not put it for now. Sweden, Switzerland. I mean, Iceland could also be interesting, of course. My only issue with Iceland is I always just have this feeling that every content creator in the world has made content in Iceland. It just feels a bit saturated in terms of like the wow factor. But then again, I don't know how many have done live streams from Iceland. So yeah, maybe. I thought Zimbabwe was on the list. Was I mistaken? I could have sworn I had seen Zimbabwe here before. Okay, that's unfortunate if it's not, because I thought I could do it there. Swiss says, we got stopped briefly at customs because they were like, you have many cameras. You said we had the gorilla shoot and made sure not to pack a drone, so they let us go. That's good. Yeah, I guess for Uganda, I don't think I would... yeah, I think you need permission for the drone usage. Okay, so I have my list of potentially 6 countries. Kenya, Mongolia, Norway, Finland, Rwanda, Uganda. Oh yeah, Tanzania is like another big question mark. So Tanzania would be great if in the future, if not already. And then yeah, Zimbabwe. Because I do have some connections there. Zimbabwe. Oh, Spain. Spain's on the list. I need to go to Spain to search for that one animal, the ghost lynx. And they do have some lynx hides, so I've been wanting to check that out. Used it in Zimbabwe, no issues. Also in Ghana. That's right, you were in Ghana. Wait, is Ghana on this list? Yeah, I saw, yeah, Ghana's here. Okay. Wait, is this the same thing? Let me see. Yeah, same. So yeah, point is, would be great to test out this, to test out this in, for the pilot. Roam with Starlink, 300 bucks for the mini. So yeah, I know I keep saying this, Swiss, but I definitely, obviously, I want to do a deep dive with you at some point. And like I said, for me, success is not necessarily doing this, like having a pilot that works with all the data stuff. Success for me is being able to bring fellow content creators, fellow photographers along with me, right? I am a huge advocate of growing together, you know, the rising tides concept. So every one of you guys, I don't know, obviously not all of you guys are like content creators per se, or like live streamers or stuff like that. But I want to take you guys with me as well in whatever capacity and build out an awesome community where people are able to kind of have some really unique experiences in the wild. Kavai says Command F to search for Zimbabwe on the site. It's not on the list. But they do also have like a interactive map. Hold on, let's see if we can find it on the map. I swear Zimbabwe was on there before. I'm not staking my life on it, but close enough. I swear. Believe me. Where's the freaking map? Oh wait, hold on, let me zoom out. Oh, there we go. So this is in snow. Nice. It's like they're listening to me. Weather resilience. Starlink is designed to endure the elements. It can melt snow and withstand sleet, heavy rain, and harsh winds, which means it could work in Mongolia as well. Where is the map? There it is. Yeah, see? Look. Available. Oh, wait, but it could be that one of the units, or maybe like the roaming mobility one isn't available there. That could be it. Because here's Zimbabwe. And then in terms of where I would go in Zimbabwe, one would be this area here where it says Hwange National Park. That's actually one of the parks where, unfortunately, it was in the news recently because some asshole trophy hunter killed like a star. I think the name was Blondie. Hwange National Park. Yeah, so sadly, like one of the celebrity lions in Hwange National Park, called Blondie, was shot and killed by a trophy hunter. And it was like, it was collared and everything. So it was like supposed to be an extra protection so that even the poachers know not to go after him. But apparently, man, these guys, it's so upsetting. Like, I'm not morally opposed to like trophy hunting as a concept, but then like you got to play within the rules of engagement, if you will. And Blondie was one of those that was protected. It's a research line. It brings in tourism, obviously, to the country as well. But what the trophy hunters did, apparently, so what happens is you got the trophy hunter who then pays a shit ton of money to the local poachers or the trackers, who then do their shady thing, right? So what they did apparently is they started leaving bait near, they found Blondie, then they set up traps, essentially, or like bait to lure Blondie out of the national park and into like the open territory, or there's like, you know, like there's parts that are not protected where it's like free, it's a free-for-all type thing. So they basically lured Blondie out of the protected zone and then shot and killed Blondie, which is like, yeah, obviously very, very sad. Because he was young. Yeah, so he was believed to be 5 years old, the dominant male in his pride. Yeah, so it happened end of June this year. Even I had heard of Blondie because when I went to, so basically I have some connections in Huanggi National Park, so I went a couple times. So Blondie is like one of the celebrity ones that you're looking for. So it was like, man, that's such a bummer. Because he was like a very impressive lion. Like very photogenic, very dominant, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, anyways, sad stuff. It happens. I don't even know why I brought that up. Swiss says, sent the photos of the Starlink on Discord and a link to the travel router. The GLI router is an open platform, so it's very configurable. Thank you, thank you. Hold on, let's check this out. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, I remember you sent at least one of these photos before, so this is really useful detail. Dun, 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 dun. So what, the dual band Wi-Fi travel router. Oh, I think I do have this on my list, is like you have the Starlink, but you also need like a Ethernet router or something like that. So you're saying basically what you have is you have your Starlink. Man, I wish I knew how to do those, like, I know some people use MS Paint. I wish I could do that. Hold on. Can I do that with Canva? Dun, 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 dun. Doo-doo. Stream on stream. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Give me a second, I'm just creating a thing here. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Kavai says, why unalive the lion if they're trophy hunters? Just make it sleep? No? Well, I mean, I think they do it for the thrill of the hunt for sure, but no, they do it for the kill. Like they want the you know, they mount it on the walls, right? I'm kind of speaking, generalizing it a bit, but yeah, generally it's not just to like sleep dart it. You're trying to take it out so then you can actually mount the animal back home. Like you'll keep the head, you know, the rest goes. Or at least that's one type of trophy hunting. And yeah, and also to get the photo. Oh wait, no, I could have just made all that shit up. Because can they actually take, let's say if you took the lion's head, would you actually be able to take it back home? I guess maybe not. So I guess maybe it is just for the photo, like the photo op, and just the thrill of doing the hunt. You don't get trophy hunters. Listen, I'm very much, I try my best to not be judgmental. I try at the very least to kind of understand or try to empathize with what could be the rationale for something I don't necessarily agree with. And I think with like trophy hunting, I can understand if you have a certain ethics where you don't necessarily, like if you already eat meat, for example, or like other things where it's like, it's not like the thing of like, you know, death is a part of life, right? Hunting and gathering and all that. We do it every day, you know, you just happen to get meat that was killed for you, you know, put in a supermarket. I think some people just have a thrill from getting that action, right? It's like this going back to a primitive mode of hitting like your caveman genetics. So there's an excitement level. I won't ever be able to understand the mindset of someone who does that. But then I can understand the ethical arguments that have existed where it's not so black and white, because oftentimes the amount of money that gets brought into the local economy from trophy hunting could actually dwarf the amount of donations up, you know, like the national parks or the government or whatever would get to maintain or preserve the national parks. So it's like in a weird twisted way, it's like the trophy hunters might actually be what's keeping the economy and the national park preserved. So where I would say like could make some ethical sense is like if you say there are some animals that are marked for hunting, whether it's because they're a danger to some of the other, like, you know, sometimes you'll hear about like some of the male giraffes, like some of them go rogue and then they're killing all the baby giraffes in whatever area. So like if there's like one of those types of giraffes that have like outgrown itself to a certain point, or yeah, like things like that, or if it's an animal that's overpopulated that needs to be kind of culled for preservation of the rest of the animals and the ecosystem, then I can understand an argument for it's like, okay, having some level of hunting allowed, knowing that it's almost like a necessary evil. And I say evil with air quotes, but it's like it's a necessary, uncomfortable truth, because that does bring in money to help support everyone else. I don't know. It's like one of those weird things. So Swiss says the Starlink does have a Wi-Fi router built in, but if you're trying to bond TVU cell and sat internet, you're going to need an external. Thank you. Okay. So I haven't used this kind of whiteboard on Canva, so I figure this could be fun to test out here. I just need a normal whiteboard. Brand mood board. Let's try this one. Interesting. This is gonna be fun, I guess. Okay, cool. So they have all the template stuff. This is actually kind of awesome. All right. Now that we have this. Wait, no. We gotta lock this into place. Let's get rid of these. So let's say I need a Starlink. Let's center it. Okay, so you get your Starlink. Then you said the Starlink has a Wi-Fi router. You're trying to bond. Okay, so let's go with the cell. Okay, TVU for now, or cell bonding kit. What else? External router. So it's kind of like we'll do some dotted lines between the two, I guess. So it'd be like having a Starlink plus the cell bonding kit requires an external monitor in between to kind of power it. What else? What else? Starlink. All right, where do I get my dotted lines? Who would have thought I'd be doing this on stream? All right, how do I make this a dotted line stroke style? Cool. So now basically we get all right. So Starlink, external router, and maybe what else? I mean, Starlink is really the only brand, but just for consistency's sake, let's say we'll call this we'll call it Wi-Fi. So we want Wi-Fi, we want an external router, and we want cell bonding. And then we'll put the brands underneath it. What else is needed to run a stable connection in motion? Well, obviously battery stuff, cabling. So maybe in between I need to say something about cabling. Like what connects the Wi-Fi to the router, router to this, and then underneath it, we'll have stuff. Oh wait, no, here. For this, we'll use this guy. Actually, this doesn't make sense. I need text box. Can I type in this? No. Give me a text box. Swiss says power for all 3 devices, Ethernet cables. Yeah, so sorry, I'm being OCD about this. Let me see if I can find a text box. Text. I guess we'll just do a normal text. But I want to put some boundaries on it. Oh shoot. I deleted the thing by accident. Okay. Text box. Now you see why it takes me forever to do any task. Because now I'm getting sucked into just finding the perfect text box. And really, the question on everyone's mind is who gives a flying... I do. Okay, we'll go with this one. So we need power, mounting hardware to attach the device to the outside of the vehicle. Yeah, okay. Damn it, there's gonna be a lot. We got a lot to write down here. I'm not making my life easier. Let's call it, power. Okay, none of this, whatever I just did, none of this makes sense. I need a freaking rectangle. Because the problem with these things is like, I can't like resize it besides just in whatever scale it's already designed in. So I think what I need is like an actual just rectangle. Tools. There we go. This is what I need. But what we will keep is we'll keep the color. Good enough. Power. Yo, Ikidis is in the chat. Hello, hello. Mounting hardware. Hold on, before I forget. Sorry, let's just write this down. Mounting hardware to vehicle. To vehicle. Yo, there's got to be a better way. This is why this is not what I do for a living, okay? Although I guess maybe I'm doing it now. Let me just put Ethernet cables for now. Kavai says, I'm often a perfectionist, so too, it can be annoying sometimes. Yeah, you know what? F it, we're gonna do it live. Ikidis is saying, what's crack-a-lackin'? Yo, we have so many things cracking and... No, we're not lacking. So whatever the opposite of that is. Starting with... okay, ignore the 2 cameras below me right now, because obviously it's just placeholders. I gotta push it somewhere. But we have a new setup. So this home screen, although maybe I'll hop over here so you can see. So we got this new home setup. I've got Mr. Steampunk over here, which I'm going to hop over to in a second. And by a second, I mean, well, not now. First thing over here above me, we've got two new cameras of my cats in a different format than before. And we're going to punch in full screen now so you guys can see in its glory. Starting with cat number 1, although I need to refocus it. I should just put it in autofocus, but... Look at Kimbap over there. What a good boy. So now we got Kimbap in his own little setup. Oh, and then Ikidis, I forget if this is new news or if I told you this last time, but I have some new emotes for my submarinos. So we got, I don't remember how to, I don't know the freaking codes for them. So let me just go to the Twitch side. We've got Kimbap saying hello, which I'll put in now since we're on Kimbap. And we've got Kimbap blasting away, you know, just banging, head banging. Enjoying the music. And then, what's the other one? We got him lolling. So yeah, so we got 3 for him. Ikeda says new cam, how awesome. Yes, it is super awesome, right? I'm using my Z6 III, same camera. I just swapped out the lens to a 50mm 1.2. It's at aperture 2. And we're going to keep playing around with it, but I think right now this angle looks pretty good. I'm happy with this setup. And then over time, I'll be updating what's in the background and just, you know, the typical stuff. Right now it's just my living room space, which we'll clean up later on. Outside of this... Now let's hop over to camera number 2, which is beautiful Nala. Princess Nala over here. But now she's joined by Mr. Steampunk. So I haven't come up with a name for him yet. But we got Steampunk chilling over there. And I decided I'm going to try to stick with the Steampunk vibes. So I just lined up a bunch of my lenses so that there's some good reflection, but it's somewhat like minimalist and kind of looks like maybe towers, or I don't know what I was going for, but it could be like, it's all cylindrical, right? We got Mr. Steampunk, cylindrical body, lenses cylindrical. So it's all about curves in this one. And then I put some photos behind. I don't know if I'll keep that there. It was more just to block just to kind of wall out the living room space. But I might remove, like for instance, you see the lion over there. Potentially, I might just remove it. We'll see. We'll see. Ikeda says, how cool is that lamp? Yo, it is. There's no words to say how cool this lamp is. It's punk. Punk as fuck. So anyways, now we got these cameras set up. So I'm very, very happy with it. Super lo-fi catnap vibes, they say. It's a good balance with the cat tower in the back, which is also built like a tower. Oh man, I didn't put 2 and 2 together. That's a really good, I like that. Yeah, so it's a lot of like leading lines that extend all the way from the left to the right, including the background, like Kavai said. We've got our little Dyson fan as well as the cat tree, adding a bit more of that vertical lines. Nice, I didn't think about that. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think this camera setup is my favorite for sure. I think it's basically good to go as is. I don't think I would make too many changes there. Oh, dude, thank you for putting those emotes in there. It looks nice. Oh wait, I have to show the other cat emotes. Ikeda says, I feel like I'm interrupting something. Oh yeah, we were talking about Starlink stuff. Don't worry, you're not interrupting. You're joining the conversation. You are invited. Ikeda, part of my goal is also to go to South Africa for this concept. So you are absolutely part of the conversation. Let me just show you guys the final emotes. Since we're on Nala, let me show the Nala emotes. So we've got Nala hyped up. And we've got Nala sipping away on some coffee. How epic is that? So... Ikeda says, no, your cat's bath time. Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess we are intruding on her privacy a little bit. Emotes are 10 out of 10. Yes, shout out to, his name is Meben, M-H-E-B-E-N on Fiverr. So he created my new badges, alerts, and emotes. So I will 100% be reaching out to him for additional work. But super awesome, very patient with me because I'm very difficult to work with, I would say. I'm just guessing. But yeah. But anyways, that's where we are. Looks pretty good, right? No complaints. Oh, one complaint on my side. I think I need a, you can see it, I guess, when I switch between cameras, but the two sub cameras on the bottom right, I think I need to make the cameras consistent because you're seeing me drop slightly on the right. Okay, that's an easy fix I'll do later. Oh, and then let me lift the chat box slightly here. Give a little bit of breathing space. Cool. All right, so there's my quick little catch up. Hopefully, Ikidis, you approve of the changes that were made. And if you don't approve, I mean, what can I say? Just, you know. Besides that, so right now I'm in Canva. You said thank you for the catch up. You're welcome. Thank you for being here. So what we're doing, I just wanted to grab, this is like the most inefficient way to do it. It's just better to write it down, to be honest. But I figure I share with you guys what it is. You know what, Notion would be 1,000 times better than this, but this is a bit more visual. And I do like Canva, and I want to keep testing it out. So they have this, they had a few templates for building like a whiteboard. So that's what we're testing. What I'm trying to figure out here, I should put it in with the rest of these guys, is if I were to start, not if, when I start doing some wildlife IRL travel streams, so we'll call it wildlife IRL stream tech stack. And just to simplify, we'll call it the Wild Lives Tech Stack. I'm looking at what is required to power a live stream from a moving vehicle where we will be doing some Jeep Safari streams. So I've already got all the tech stuff written down for most of what I'm doing, and I've already pitched this to a number of different operators and partners of mine. So I think this is going to be greenlit. Like, this is definitely happening next year. It's just a question of how many partners can I get on board to help offset some of the cost, because it's not cheap. It's a pretty penny. So the more partners I can get on board, obviously the better it is for me. So I don't have to cry at how much money I have to shill for this. Kavai says, Ikidis, did you put up the animal camera in your garden, or am I mixing up with someone else? It's me, not yet, but what an idea. Yes, I think Ikidis, I think I mentioned it to you as well. I was like, yo, you should totally be just put a hide camera, you know, and just have it popped up. Because if you get freaking deer and zebra or whatever else popping through your backyard, that is a dream. So anyways, so we need Wi-Fi, which will come in the form of Starlink. So let me just put Starlink here for now. External router. So Swiss Army mentioned this brand, which let me copy and paste. Oh wait, maybe we can use one of these guys. Here. Let's take, what do we need? Let's grab a circle and an arrow. Circle and just a basic ass arrow. And let's grab a text box. Put it in here. Let's blow up the size a bit. Let's align it, group it, flip it, and reverse it. But actually, we're going to flip it and rotate it. There we go. And then let's repeat this. That way we keep it clean without any branding on these guys, but then we'll put the brands over here. Kavai says, let us know when you try it out. I'll happily watch that like a Maya stream. Yeah. But static shot for simplicity's sake. Yeah, I think iKidis, you absolutely can do it that way. There's already these like hide camera concepts. And there's one on YouTube that gets like 600, 700 views every day. It's like a 24/7 stream. Kavai is saying is my connection bad? Right now it's showing my bitrate is stable. So hopefully if you had some stream issues, hopefully it's resolved by now. Oh, one quick little thing. I mentioned it briefly at the start of the stream. Most likely I will not be streaming tomorrow because we have some crazy things happening. Crazy to me anyways. My buddy, he's crashing on the living room right now, but he's an incredible tattoo artist. And so he's actually done a few of my ink work on my shoulders, actually. You can see one here and you can see one there. And it's all using a needle. Instead of using a tattoo gun, it's like a hand poke style. So, yeah, so as a kind of like, I guess as a gratitude, crashing with me, it's very fun. But anyways, he said he would create a custom design and get me some ink worked. So tomorrow I'm dedicating some time to get some new ink work. And it's been like over 2 years since I got my last tattoo. I think my last tattoo was kimbap, actually. So I went to Paris to meet this Korean artist who does like this very amazing cat style. Like she's known for doing cat tattoos. And so I got kimbap, dressed up as a chef chopping up some kimbap. So I thought that was clever of me. And so yeah, it's been a few years. But next time you guys see me after the stream, you guys might see that I've got something new. And I'm thinking I'm going bold. It's actually going to go right here. So it's something I've been meaning to do. I kind of joked about it before, but I wasn't really joking, but I was saying like once I left corporate world, it was like a huge drastic change, right? It was a very nerve-wracking about like, can I survive outside of corporate? Doing my own thing, right? Can I sustain myself long enough? Do I have enough in my savings? Do I have a future? Is there something in the roadmap that will allow me to stay out of corporate for life? And I had told myself, I'm giving myself 2 to 3 years to be outside of corporate until I need to make a decision. Do I go back or not? And I was saying, the moment I realize I can survive out of corporate, the moment I realize I don't want to be in corporate and actually will make it a decision to try my best never to go back, I was like, that's when I will end up getting some ink work on my hands and like fingers, hands, whatever. Because you can imagine in a white collar job, it's still kind of frowned upon almost anywhere in the world to get ink, visible ink. I got away with having visible ink in my previous job, but you know, things are changing. Things are becoming a bit more open-minded, but I think hand tattoos, it's still kind of a stretch to expect people to accept it. So I figured this will be kind of like a statement for myself that it's like the moment you get that done, it's like basically I'm closing the door to going back into corporate. That was like my thought process. But I've been so busy with all this stuff, and also getting ink work is very expensive. So I just kind of put a pause on tattoos for quite a bit of time. But since my buddy's here, I was like, let's make it happen. So anyways, that's my quick little context. Let's hop back over to our editing thing. Aikita says my tattoos will also come soon when I leave retail. Yeah, exactly, right? That's always there's always this equation of like corporate and personal, right? It's always separate, and tattoos are always in the personal by design, you know, unless you get a tattoo of your company brand. I used to joke about this, you know, back in my old company during the COVID days. Even I was like joking that in my skin fade I'll put the name of the company there, you know, when I do client presentations and stuff. But obviously I'm kidding, I would never do that. Fed is in the chat. Fed says howdy. Yo Fed, how did your ZR filming go? Hopefully it went well. Hopefully no issues. Let us know. My cats say hello. So we've got our new designed set. So we got Nala over here and the very steampunk vibes. And we've got Kimbap in a new positioning. So now instead of shooting with that 20, it's 20 millimeter wide angle lens where Kimbap was centered and the shot was a little bit, top down, we've now positioned Kimbap off a bit farther away with the 50 millimeter lens. And I think it looks kind of nice. I need to keep figuring out how to dress up the scene though. So probably in the future in the living room, in the background space, I might put some stuff there. But we'll see. We'll see. Ikeda says, not me with medication down my forearm. Imagine. Well, Ikeda, you 1000% need to get some horse tattoos, right? Pinterest. I don't know. Let's look up cool horse tattoos. I'll tell you what to get, okay? Believe me, you should trust in my judgment here. Which kind of horse tattoo would work on Ikeda? I think minimalist, obviously. So even something like this on the one on the right, as goofy as it looks, I think stuff like this could look nice. This one, I'm not a big fan of. It kind of just looks like a beheaded horse, right? It takes you to like the, what was it, the Godfather type thing. I mean, it looks nice, but I think more abstract stuff could look really cool. Fed says, went well, no issues, occasionally some wind noise, but easy to fix. I'm still working on sound and done most of the color grade. Yo, well, once you get some shots that you feel you want to share, or if you want to promote whatever, if you post it on social media, feel free, obviously, to share it in the Discord. I don't know if you can send it over here or not. No flickering, set at 172.8. Nice. So that is the magic number. Okay, which ink work would I recommend to Ikeda? Yo, something like this would be pretty good. Because you don't want like a bog standard horse tattoo, right? It's done in, there's too many of them, right? So you want to do stuff where it doesn't necessarily have to be the star of the show. It could be part of a bigger palette. So even like something like this where you get a bit of nature, you get a partial bit of the horse, but it's kind of telling a broader scene. Stuff like this I'm a fan of. Like whoever got this done, or the artist, the concept, I think stuff like this is cool. So it doesn't have to just be like, hey guys, look at my horse. It's like it's more. I like the one-line tats. Yeah, I think those like minimal singular line kind of concepts look really cool. Yo, this looks nice. I'm a big fan of these types of abstract ones. So having like, just not having like the hard lines, having the full horse shape, but having parts of the horse in like curved lines and stuff like that, that could look fire. For 50 hertz in Europe, says Fed. That's if you like minimalist artistic IG. This one's nice. I think I prefer minimalist styles, maybe. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not a big fan of these kind of styles, right? Like where you get the full picture. It looks like you slapped a picture onto your arm, which is kind of funny because I do have stuff like that with me on my body as well. But generally speaking, I think if you're going for like a clean, I think cleaner looks can look nice. Stuff like this is cool, but this could look good if you do something like what I'm doing, where you have like patchwork style. So you just got a bunch of like spacing and then you have one piece after another. Fed says, I don't know if Dubai has 50 or 60 hertz. Yo, Fed, I have the answer to that. Shout out to Swiss Army Cinema. I don't know if he's still here, but he was helping me out with my Flickr issue earlier. And he told me that in Dubai, it's 50 hertz. Who would have thought it would be full circle where the knowledge that he provided to me at the start of the stream, I could share it to you. That's cool. And then Ikeda, the next thing we'll do is think about body placement. I think for women, there's like some areas that look better than others. I think the shoulder could look nice. The best one is like down the spine, the rib, I guess the clavicle area maybe. All right, a lot of these tattoos look pretty shite, if I'm not. I like this style of like, it feels like it's stenciled in. So I think the stenciling style is cool. I just don't know, again, I'm not a big fan of just having like the full lines and everything and having just the horse's head. There's some connotations with that. I don't know. Ooh, this could have been good in theory, but in practice, maybe not so much. Fed says, I'm probably going to upload the video to YouTube when it's done. Hells yeah. Well, let us know when it's ready. Would obviously love to check it out, support you, you know, send it to everyone. Aikita says, I eventually want a long poem down the spine as well. Yes, that would be really cool. Just keep in mind, the lower back was the most painful for me. Rib and lower back was very, very painful. But very, very worth it. So, trade-offs. Let's look up abstract horse design. This could be interesting, depending on placement, just having these lines kind of fade out. But I guess the issue is you want to avoid anything that could look like a logo. You definitely don't want logo placement on your body. So there's a fine line between art and logo. Man, we're going deep on this. Yeah, you know what? I still say Aikidis, stuff like this, like I'm a fan of like line arts and like especially for women. For some reason, I feel like something about these kind of more line abstract minimalist styles can look really good on women, whereas like on men it could look good, but it can also look too like I don't know if delicate's the right word, but you like for your average male kind of vibes, it might end up looking too feminine, I guess. Not to say it in a negative way. Fed says, very little noise in most of the footage. Got great exposure at 6400 ISO, high bass at f1.7 to 2.8. Had to pull it down 3 stops in some shots for mood, so worked out great. Oh, nice, nice. By the way, I did download that the LUT that you sent the video link to. So yeah, shout out to that guy. I gave him some money as a thank you, but I do have that LUT to use going forward. Okay, anyways, Aikidis, you're welcome. I expect to see exactly what I shared here as your ink work in the future. Fed says, even then there was very little clipping, maybe a bit on some of the lights in the background at times, but nothing major. Nice. Well, I'm very excited to see it. Man, the camera is so powerful, but like I said, it's for me coming from nothing more professional. It was like such an amazing upgrade to be able to see that dynamic range. But yeah, I'm always curious. Obviously, someone like you, Fed, if you shot with like these crazier cinema cameras or like the 12K Pixis, whatever you said, I'm always curious if it feels like a huge downgrade or not. I don't know. Okay, so basically what I'm doing here is I got to start capturing a few details of what does it take to power this concept. So let's flip it. Nope. Why is this never understandable to me? Shoot. So basically we're going to get Starlink. Which Starlink do we need? Let's look up the products. See, I need Starlink to operate in South Africa. It's all dead area. Although, I guess it's in the coming soon section. Service date is unknown at this time in South Africa. So basically, I would have to rely on some of those private game reserves in South Africa to do like, to, you know, utilize the cell towers. But yeah, South Africa's on the list. Tanzania, hopefully, on the list. Uganda. And then, yeah, maybe starting off in Kenya. But let me go over, where do I see the products? Starlink Performance, is that the name? Service plans. Performance Gen 3. So I'm going to put this down. I'm not sure if this is the right one. Starlink Performance Generation 3. Fed says it's not a downgrade at all. There's a little bit more dynamic range on the Pixis 12K and some other high-end cameras, but I feel I have enough on the ZR anyway in most cases. Okay. Yeah, I think... Are like the cinema cameras usually 16... Is it like a 16-bit thing? Or I have no idea. I'm making up numbers now. Swiss says I used it in Kruger. Nice. Okay, so it's good to know then. We could technically bring it there. Man, what you said is a huge... the fact that you say you can technically use it in these other markets just within 60 days or whatever before they shut it down, that's music to my ears, so... I guess as long as you can travel with a Starlink to those countries, then you're good. Oh wait, Swiss, I forget if I asked you already. Which Starlink do you use? Do you have a Starlink Mini? Or what's your, what product are you using? You're telling me I want the Starlink Mini. So let me double check it. But yeah, if you can let me know if you're using the Mini as well, or if there's a different brand. You got the Mini? Okay. Let's see what the difference is then between the Mini and... What is the key differences between the Starlink Mini and Performance Gen 3? The main difference is portability versus power performance, obviously. Come on. Starlink Mini is ultra compact, low power, integrated and uses standard Wi-Fi, while Gen 3 offers significant faster speeds, higher power, better obstruction tolerance, designed for fixed or mobile enterprise use, like trees or bad weather, and high bandwidth are critical. Fed says the R3D codec, the red codec is so good, I ended up using a little work light my buddy had in his car in some scenes away from the lights of the factory, along with the headlight, and the mixed lights looked fine. Nice. Okay. And Swiss says it's half the size. Understood. So you're saying if I were to travel with the Starlink Performance Gen 3, it might be more of an issue to travel with it? Versus the Mini seems okay whatsoever, yeah. So there could be a world where maybe it's like, if I work with a dedicated lodge operator, it could be that they are the ones who own the performance. Let's say if I get a Performance Gen 3, it'd be like the lodge actually owns that unit and they can use it to however they want. And I'm basically going there to kind of run this pilot, and then they keep it afterwards and everything, right? So that could be a world where it's like, hey, you have free reins to it because I can't travel with the Performance Gen 3 just because of the size. Let me ask that as well. Can you fly internationally with a Starlink Performance Gen 3 based on its size or any issues? Fed says the highlight roll off on those practical lights look very nice. Okay. Man, I'm very excited to see what you shot. Swiss says the Starlink Mini fits perfectly in my front laptop pocket of the Peak Design. No shot. The front laptop pocket of the Peak Design carry-on bag. Okay, that is damn mini then. Yes, you can generally fly internationally with the Starlink Performance Gen 3 kit, but it is better suited for checked baggage due to its size and weight. Okay, I'm fine with checked baggage. There are no lithium-ion batteries in the main components, so common battery restrictions do not apply. Okay, so I don't mind not having to put it in carry-on. I'm totally fine putting it in like a, you know, some kind of check-in bag. I wonder if it can fit inside of a Pelican case. So like for instance, Pelican, what were we looking at? Pelican case, ATEM, Mini. So when you look at these kind of units, they always have a monitor built into the top lid, right? So I wonder, could I make a setup? Could I customize a rig of like a case where instead of having a monitor, it's where I put the Starlink just like whenever I'm traveling. Oh wait, no, hold on. I take it all back. Because like this case would have to be carry-on because there's going to be a lot of battery stuff inside. Okay, so there have to be a dedicated check-in bag to house the Starlink. Because of the size of the regular Starlink, it could be an issue when driving on a vehicle. I mean, but the Gen 3 I think is designed, they have the mobility mode, right? So let's actually see if we can hop over to it. I wonder if it'll show it here. Right? So like I need something like this where you hook it up in motion. And I thought perfect for RVs, says someone. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I want this land mobility set. The Mini is small enough to not be a sail on the roof. Fair point. I mean, the point is, I guess, the good news is that Swiss, you used a Mini in a market that's not necessarily fully operational for a setting that wasn't necessarily designed for mobility, and you were able to get stable connection. I think you said 35 Mbps upload and 98% uptime, right? So that's amazing. So it sounds like at the worst case, the bare minimum unit that we would travel with or whatever seems to be fairly strong. And now I'm just trying to test if we go up, you know, if we upgrade to like the Gen 3 performance model, what's the key difference? Obviously size, but then like how much of a difference does it make in terms of connectivity and speed, stuff like that. Kavai says, oh wait, hold on. Swiss says probably a 1510. I can test that today. Oh, nice. You have a 1510 or something? You want the Starlink to be free to place in the best reception area? Yeah, I mean, so here's my concept. There's going to be two Starlinks that I travel with. One is going to be hooked up to my lodge. So wherever I'm staying, like my tented safari lodge, I'm going to have a Starlink dedicated for that space, because oftentimes, from what I've seen in some of the lodges, they'll have strong connection near the common area because that's where the Starlink gets set up. But then the moment you go off into your tented camps, your tented rooms, the reception drops off, and obviously you have to share with anyone else that's on the network. So the goal would be when I do my lodge streams in the evening, I would have my own dedicated Starlink so no one else can piggyback off of it, and boom, we get solid connection there. And then obviously we're doing our safari streams. So once we're on the drive, that one will have we'll rig up a Starlink onto one of the lodge's Jeeps. right? So the Land Cruiser, hook it up to the roof, and that's just like a dedicated Jeep just for my purposes, essentially, while I'm there. So it should be locked in pretty securely. Yeah, and so just be on the roof, should be fine on a Land Cruiser. That's my thoughts. So it would be a 2 Starlink system. But yeah. Kavai says, I like having my camera bag on carry-on. I avoid any issues of losing my gear, but for Starlink, I guess you could get refunded if you lose it. Yeah, true. Obviously, you don't want it to happen. I'll put some trackers inside. Yeah, I usually avoid putting my cameras in check-in, but this is before I was introduced to these like Pelican and Nanook cases, and that's kind of opened my eyes to like, holy shit, these cases are amazing. Now, because oftentimes when I travel, I do end up with check-in these days. It's not like, gone are the days where I can just travel light with only carry-on. I'm always bringing some check-in now. So if I have a check-in bag and I can throw all my camera in there, like my camera stuff, and not worry about it breaking, that's music to my ears. Swiss says, I uploaded like 35 grams. I uploaded like 35 gigabytes of proxy to DaVinci Resolve while in the car. Wow. Swiss says, yeah, we had the same problem, so I just put my dish out on the porch. Okay. Yeah, the only reason I was thinking I need 2 units was, one, obviously the more I, not the more, if I can avoid readjusting or, you know, uninstalling, reinstalling the Starlink, it just means I avoid more chances of me damaging the units, right? So if I can minimize the risk, user error risk of me removing the Starlink and replacing them so often, not only for that reason, but also saving time. So then imagining having to constantly every day before I go on my first morning safari, which is like going to be before sunrise, the thought of like having to grab the Starlink from my tent and then bring it with me to the Jeep, set it up alongside everything else each time sounds a bit of a pain. So it probably makes more sense to just have 2 dedicated units, one for the fixed safari tent, one for the fixed mobile Jeep. Kavai says, interesting, never knew of those hard shell bags for cameras. Yo, well, you're hearing it first, Kavai. I was recently introduced to it. It was a Nanook case. But I think Pelican is the one that more people have heard of, at least in stateside, I guess. But I use this like Nanook case, and Pelican, here, let's just look at Pelican case cameras. And you kind of like customize the inside of it. Oftentimes it's like full of foam and then you have to cut out. So some of the designs, it's like you cut out space for your gear. And so then going forward, you just insert everything inside its space. And when it closes, it's like airtight, it's sealed. Even if it goes in the water, it'll like float, water can't get in. It's just like a solid unit, you know? And they have a number of different sizes and stuff. Swiss is an expert. I think you own like a bunch of them based on the image you shared of the storage space you got. But yeah, now that I realized this exists, I was like, oh, I see. This is how professionals travel with all their kit. Because yeah, can you imagine what I have to do is I'm always lugging all the cameras in my backpack. And I'm definitely breaking all the airplane rules around weight capacity and stuff like that. Plus, it's just a pain in the ass having to lug it all around. So anyways. So if I can slap in a Starlink inside of this, that could be the solution. Swiss says, sent a bulletproof Starlink mount that you could do suction or magnet. Oh yeah, okay, hold on. Let me write that down before I forget. I need... Oh, I did say mounting hardware to vehicle. Okay, I guess that's good enough. Let me see what you sent. Striker mount for Starlink Mini. So let me write this down. Striker mount for Starlink Mini. All right. Well, thank you very much. Linked in the Discord. Yeah, I got the... Oh, yeah. Let's just check it out real quick. Actually, this is such a better solution. Because I watched a random YouTube video a while back, and they basically drilled through the RV, right? So on the roof of the RV, they drilled holes, and then they had to put some kind of mounting, and it's like a... You know, it's like, can you imagine me trying to convince a safari lodge, like, hey, are you on board with this concept? Okay, cool. Now I need you to freaking drill holes into one of your precious Land Cruisers for the Starlink. And it's like, well, it's harder to convince someone to do that when it's still in proof of concept mode. Because it's like, what happens if it doesn't work? They're left with freaking holes drilled through the Land Cruiser, right? And so what happens when it rains? And I don't know, it's just like all those things they would have. Yeah, so to not have to like drill stuff in, if we can somehow use these suction mounts and stuff like that, that's a huge plus. Okay. Where was the Starlink thing though? Starlink performance. Yeah, so for instance, Swiss, I'm on the page right now for land mobility, and on that page, the first kind of product breakdown is about the Starlink performance. So this unit is designed for that mobility concept. Or I don't know if it's designed for it, but it works for mobility. Engineered for durability, the Starlink performance is enclosed in aluminum and designed for resilient connectivity in harsh and remote environments, extreme weather, and in-motion usage. Operates on AC and or DC power. Oh, hey, Swiss, if you're still there, one of the question marks I had written down as like things to figure out eventually was if I have the Starlink connected to the car battery, and then if you shut off the car, if you turn off the ignition or whatever, does the Starlink power off? And so my assumption was yes, because I know nothing about cars or anything. My assumption was like, okay, if you have the Starlink powered on by the car's battery, and if the car turns off, then so does the Starlink. So then my assumption was you need to actually have the Starlink hooked up to a portable battery as opposed to the car battery. Because the worst thing I can imagine is if you're on a Jeep Safari, you're doing a stream, you see the animal, and so now you want dead silence, so you shut the car off, so the engine's not running, and all of a sudden the stream ends because it was all connected to that. So anyways, that was like a random thought that I need to essentially get the answer for. It's not the worst, it's not the biggest problem or question, because it's like, yeah, I would assume as part of this, I would need to travel with a number of those like portable batteries. So gigabit speeds are available in 2026. Starlink is focused on making network enhancements which will enable gigabit speeds starting in the most remote places in 2026. No hardware changes needed. The Starlink Performance Kit is currently capable of download speeds up to 400 plus Mbps. I need to know about the upload speed. Fed says, I put a still of the first shot we filmed in the Discord. Oh, nice. Let me check it out. And Swiss says, if you ran direct to the battery, no. However, it would be ran 24/7 that way. You're better off having external power. Okay, cool. So that's what I was assuming. If you ran off the car's ACC power, then yes, it would shut down. Okay. Thank you. All right, so Fed sent a photo in the Discord, in the photo stream. Let's go ahead and pop it open here. Oh, man. Dude, this is so crazy. I mean, this looks amazing. Dude, the low light performance. Obviously, I know you worked your magic on the shot and everything to get it to look clean. But, damn, that's crazy. And I see what you're talking about now. You get the light sources in the background. This 100,000% looks like a shot from a Hollywood film. Yo, that's crazy. Wow. That's fantastic, man. Well, thank you for sharing. Um, Swiss says one option is to run it off the cigarette port, assuming that vehicle doesn't also shut down. The cigarette port went off. Yeah, I was thinking. My assumption is like the moment the car's turned off, I just assume everything's turned off. But maybe some of the Land Cruiser. I don't. Also, these Land Cruisers, usually the camps they customize like old Land Cruisers, right? It's not like they're customizing a brand new 2025 whatever model. So I don't know how they usually work, but I'm assuming the moment you flip the key in the ignition off, does the battery turn off? Can you turn off? Can you shut down the engine but still have battery power? It's been a while since I've driven, but I would assume yes. But I don't know. I don't know. It's better not to risk it, I guess. The dish pulls about 30 watts on average, but can be as high as 70 watts. Fed says, okay, so for this still, it was about 3 stops brighter before grading. Gotcha. Which is crazy then. So then you have the creative ability to bring it down, which you did. So super impressive. Most SIG ports stay active even when off. Okay. Amazing, man. Thank you very much for sharing this. It's like, it's very inspiring / like motivating. Like I'm getting pumped to like do some filming myself, but I need to catch up on a lot of stuff before I go out there doing new projects. But yeah, amazing, man. Okay, so Starlink Performance Kit is capable of enduring winds up to 270 kph and temperatures from -40 to 60 degrees. That's perfect. That's right in the ballpark of stuff that I want to test out. So -40 would be in Mongolia in the winter, and then 60 would be in Africa in the summer. In motion use and high vibration environments, and that's a big test. If you're on a super bumpy road or off-roading, how good is the connection? Basically, see these case studies, guys? What I want is that there should be a new case study on Starlink's website because of the work that we do, right? It'll be called safaris. So you got emergency services, health, trucking, construction, trains, energy, and the next one will say safaris. And it'll be like, if you double click, it's like content creator and wildlife photographer, Nobel Prize, tested this out, blah, blah, blah. And look how amazing it is. Stay connected while in motion. Yes. So on paper, it seems like it should work. In practice, given what Swiss Army has shared, you know, obviously a single sample size, but it should also, it also kind of leans into saying this should work, especially if we do an upgraded unit, everything else. Fed says I can add a couple more. Gonna find some different ones. Yes, please, man. I love when people share their work because obviously it gets my creative juices flowing as well. So the only thing maybe is because Swiss, you had sent the mounting solution for Starlink Mini. So then the question is, if you have a Starlink Performance Kit, do you have to install it the way that they say to, which I'm assuming is where you have to drill holes and all that sad stuff? Or can it work without? There's another one up now. Hells yeah, let's check it out. Oh. That's fantastic. Oh, by the way, I was having some gym. Okay, when I was at the gym, I was having some. You know, you head in the clouds. You're just kind of daydreaming. But I was thinking about what are things that I could do to keep improving my live streams. And I think one of the thoughts. By the way, this looks amazing. Sorry, I'm going on a tangent now by looking at this shot. One of the things that I thought would be useful for a stream is having like dedicated segments that people can, you know, like consistent segments. So like imagine it's almost like a stream schedule, but within your stream, you're having segments within the stream, right? Where it's like, oh, we're doing film talk, then we're going to do photo talk or camera talk or whatever. So it could be like set sections that I'm always doing where it's just doing like, hey, for the next hour or however long, we're just going to do everything about film talk or whatever. You get my point. I'm not voicing my thoughts very eloquently, because last night's stream, one of the last things we were doing, we were just talking about some random films, like One Battle After Another, and then I was talking about Pluribus, and we had Beatty in the chat who also had some strong opinions about One Battle After Another and stuff like that. And I think like given my branding, if you will, of like the direction that I like to, the things that I'm doing, right, which is photography, videography stuff, learning cinematography, filmmaking, wildlife, travel, composition, storytelling. Yeah, I think it'd be fun just to do like film talk as one example, or even just understanding like, so Fed sending this shot, right? Instead of just reviewing it, but it's like having a dedicated section where we're actually breaking down the composition, what makes it work. Because every time I talk about it out loud, and as you guys share information, it only makes me better in terms of like hopefully retaining knowledge better than reading it from a textbook or even a YouTube video. So anyways, that's my quick little tangent. Oh, Fed says you going on a tangent means you liked it. Yes. So speaking of, that's my tangent. We'll get back to it in a second. Let me just catch up on the chat here. He said, Swiss Army says, when I get some time, I'll test my GLI router in a dual DNS setup with my Starlink and just home internet. The configuration would be identical. We just replace the internet with the TVU cellular. It goes without saying, Swiss, but obviously thank you very much for doing so much of the testing on my behalf. Yes, so when I do this, you are absolutely, I would love to have you join in this pilot concept as we prove out the concept. Would be awesome to have you on board, and everyone else, obviously, but yeah, for sure, you know, you're bringing all the knowledge and the tech stuff. Let's make it happen next year. I believe the mobility kit is designed to be permanently attached. Yeah, that's one thing I have to keep in mind. So just good to know if I need to convince a lodge of like, hey, not just for the pilot, but you'll always have a Land Cruiser that can have connection. You're welcome, right? So maybe. Kavai says Canute. Oh, I know that guy. Or I don't know him. I know of him. Canute on Twitch streams. Canute on Twitch streams from his car every day using a Starlink suction cupped to his roof. Interesting. Do you know, I guess I should write this down for my own sake. Do you know if Canute uses like one of those TVU or live view? Because like I can understand people using a Starlink, because I know NMP LOL also uses the TVU, because when I was doing my research for this concept I saw that. But they have the luxury of streaming from city environments where they can always have cell coverage as backup, so they probably don't need like the most spec'd out Starlink setup. They can probably rely on like a Starlink Mini and the basics, assuming they're also latching on to like a TVU concept or something. But let me write that down. Canute does Starlink streams. And the question is TVU, live U, question mark. But thank you for sharing. Fed says Canute, very Scandinavian name, Scandinavian. Hard for English speakers to know how to pronounce it. I don't know if Canute is how to say it. I just know a lot of other people say it Canute. He's like a pretty big streamer. Like literally, I think he's like a big bodybuilding streamer, right? I've seen his stuff occasionally, and he seems like a very funny guy, down to earth. Hello, Dator. Guten Abend. Dator says hello, everyone. Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for being here. Dator, we've made some quick changes to the stream, so we've got our new cat camera set up. So look at beautiful kimbap over there in his nice composition. This is shot with the 50mm f2. And I'll dress up the background later on. Right now, my buddy's crashing with me, so it's a bit, it's not set up just yet, but we'll figure it out. Look at Kimbap. It's like he knows. He knows to look over here now. Look at that chunky face. Chubby cheeks. Good boy, Kimbap. Yeah. Okay. So we got that one done. And of course, we got Nala over here. And then me. Okay, so love the cat camera says, yo, what's up, Ivy? Ivy, I think it's been a minute. Thank you for popping in. Hopefully you're doing well. Yeah, we're just having a fun stream. Yeah, since you've been gone, I've been trying to upgrade the stream quality here and there, including having some dedicated cameras for my cats. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Oh, you know what? I should probably, let's just do a live edit. I think maybe in this view, sorry, I'm going to catch up on the chat in a second. I don't want to lose this train of thought. Where's my camera? Okay. I think I should move my camera up to the center. Something like this. And then we'll move one of my cat cameras down. So basically I'll be centered and they're kind of like, it's like a hamburger, right? So we're creating a nice little hamburger setup. Cat desk. So let me put the ZR here. Okay. And actually this looks a bit more, sorry, Kimbap. I think I freaked him out. This actually looks a bit more balanced now, right? Because we get some left weighted cat, me somewhat centered, and then Nala right weighted cat. There we go. Improvement on the fly. So, all right, let me catch up real quick. The K is a bit different. I have no idea how to explain the difference, but English speakers who have the name, I think, say it like you do. Okay. Wait, so you're saying a normal, a local Scandinavian would say Knut instead of Canute? Dator says a royal place. Ah, yes. Ivy says it's been a little bit. Yeah, it looks great. Thank you very much, Ivy. I appreciate it. You are one of the VIPs. I think you have one of the badges for that, right? I hope so. Anyways, thank you for being here. We're right now checking out one of the chatters, Mr. Fedorevsky on the YouTube side. Sent across some stills from his recent shoot with the Nikon ZR. So we've got our own little hashtag ZArmy building up in our community. So anyways, I did go on a tangent. I went on another tangent and we're back to the original tangent, which is around doing like film talks and like scheduled segments during my stream. And even if it's not scheduled per se, like it's not so rigid where it's like, hey, at 8 p.m. we're going to do film talk or whatever. But I need to design some transition scenes so that if we're going to enter into film talk, you can almost see like a quick little overlay. Video might play, or some simple text where it just kind of announces that we're entering into film talk mode, and then we do our thing, right? I think that'd be a fun little extra production value. Anyways, I'm brainstorming here. Kavai says, I don't know if you saw the message, but Canute uses live view. Oh, I didn't. I missed it. My bad. Oh, you said Canute uses live view. He has the whole backpack thing. Okay, thank you for letting me know. So that answers the question. So he uses live view plus Starlink. Hells yeah. Okay. He has the whole backpack thing. Yeah, that's part of what I'm looking to invest in. Fed says, yeah, that was pretty good pronunciation. Canute, Newt. Okay. So back onto this tangent here. So looking at this shot, I feel like it'd be fun to just kind of do breakdowns, especially when we got the filmmakers, the professionals in the chat. We can like do a film talk, because obviously I'm mainly learning from you guys. But when I look at a scene like this or this still, it's I feel like these are the things that I watched YouTube videos telling me about the techniques. So we're seeing it in action here. Kavai says, mind you, he lives in Texas now. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I figure in city environments, you get some good cell coverage already. Whereas like places I'm going might have like minimal to zero cell coverage. So it might fully rely on a Starlink with cell coverage as backup. So the things that looking at this that I feel like are the nice, clean, what you're supposed to do. So you get the leading lines. So I've learned all about that from photography, and it seems like leading lines are just as important in film. So you got these beautiful leading lines, kind of draws you and adds some depth to the shot from the foreground all the way into the darkness in the background. So I think that's really cool. It's kind of like a tunnel vision effect. What else? Well, we get this foreground subject, and I do like how the lighting is coming in from the right side of the subject. I don't know what you would call this. I don't know the techniques or anything, but I do like that there's a bit of spacing in between the lights and the shadows, or like you have that section of lighting, then it goes into a dark mode, then it goes into lighting mode, and then dark mode. So that's staggered or kind of yeah, I honestly, I couldn't tell you, but something about that looks nice visually to have it spread out this way. Also, I think this reaffirms for me that shooting in low light is probably the coolest thing to do. Like, I think all the most cinematic things that I've seen tends to be in these like super low light shots, or things where you're not afraid of shooting in like pitch black or having pure black pixels or whatever. So it's always encouraging to see like people leaning into it and seeing the shot looking so nice. So I have to just get over this concern that like, hey, you shouldn't be shooting in some way where you're fully underexposed in some areas and all that. Fed says most of the shots are handheld, so I follow him and reframe a lot. Gotcha. Yeah, I figure as much, right? It's and the hand holding is always fun. So yeah, this is a cool still. I like the colors here. So my assumption is like in these nighttime shots, you tend to go with like a cooler temperature. I don't know why, but it seems that's always the case. Maybe it's like you're mimicking moonlight, or I don't know. But I tend to see like in the dark shots, you are kind of getting a cooler, kind of bluish tone involved. And then you get a little bit of the warmth from the wood, I guess, naturally. Yeah, listen, man, this is fantastic. I'm very excited to see the final production of this. Those lights are bouncing off that wall, so the lighting was pretty all-encompassing in this spot. Gotcha. Oh, and I guess that's the other thing I need to keep in mind is, I guess you call it like rim lighting, is that right? Or hair light or rim light. But yeah, having a light behind the subject, or having the subject in between you and the light can be really good, because then you get that nice glow on the edges of the subject. Yeah, stuff like that. Fed says, yeah, the lights here are hot, so I turned it down to 3250 in post. Gotcha. And that's another thing I need to get a bit more familiar with is temperature in videography, right? I guess it involves, or I guess it's not just for video, but I need to get accustomed to the concept of like, let's say you go with 3200 Kelvin. What does that mean compared, like if you set your light to some Kelvin versus what is your camera's Kelvin, and the difference means what? Like is the visual going to look brighter or like warmer or cooler? I know, like I understand it when someone explains it. I got to drill it into my mind though, in terms of the knowledge. Okay, anyways. Very epic, very cool. Thank you for sharing. Okay, guys, it is now 9:40 p.m. I mentioned before that tomorrow, most likely, I will not be streaming because I will be most likely having an ink session done. And I think I'm actually gonna, we're biting the bullet. I don't know what the right terminology is. We're taking a leap. We're jumping in 10 toes down. I think I'm going to get ink work done on the hand and even on the finger. So it's going to be like, imagine finger to the hand, the back of the hand, to like most likely just maybe up to here somewhere, and a little bit off to the side. Because I already have one here, right? So we got one here. And obviously I have a lot of space still left. So it's not meant to fully do the arm. It's just going to be just like the hand and up to here. And then eventually I'll need to fill in with some other patchwork concepts over here. So yeah, anyways. So most likely I will not be streaming tomorrow. Hello, Beatty. Good day, people, says Beatty. Good day to you, Beatty. We were just doing some film talk. And by the way, Beatty, I've got my new camera set up. So we got Kimbap over here basking, getting a little bit of sunbathing going on. There's a bit of purple lighting coming through because I have this one cheap light that I bought. And I forgot the app or the remote control that controls the colors on the RGB. So right now it's set to purple, which is not bad. But yeah, anyways, I spent today's co-working stream setting up this camera view. And I'm quite pleased with the results. And of course, we've got our second cat, Nala, over here. And this is my favorite. The vibes are immaculate, as they would say. I love it so much. So Mr. Steampunk has been a beautiful addition to this setup. So those ones are all ready to go now. And I just made a quick edit to the editing scene where we've got both my cameras up and above and below me in a wide angle view. And we'll see how it's, you know, I think it looks decent here. So we might maintain it for now. So those are the quick changes that have been made. And we've been doing a bit of thanks, shout out to Swiss Army and Fed and a number of you guys, Kavai, who gave some good suggestions about like basically next year as I start planning for the IRL streams. So I was looking at a few of the kits. I know BD, you've been very helpful to me as well off stream with some advice. So yeah, I'm just kind of mapping it out right now visually. But in terms of the tech stack for like a moving vehicle, actually on that note, can I put in Land Cruiser? Hells yeah. Well, this is not the exact model, but maybe I can slap this guy in here for now. Safari Jeep. I need a Land Cruiser. Every Safari Jeep in all the main lodges, they use the exact same thing. It's a Toyota Land Cruiser. That is the gold standard, kind of, for everyone. Kind of this one. Okay, we'll just stick with this guy for now. Fed says, yeah, lights are on the wall above to the right, so I got rim light on accident. Did I already close it? I think I closed it already. But yeah, thank you very much for sharing that. That is amazing stuff. So I appreciate it. And so BD, I know you just tuned in, and I'm kind of closing down for the night because like I said, tomorrow I most likely will not be streaming, but we're doing some fun stuff. I'll be sharing some updates in the Discord for you guys, and then I'll be streaming the day after most likely. But one of the things I want to change going forward is I need to put some time into creating some nice like transition scenes when we do certain talks. So when we go into like film talk mode, especially when BD, when you're in the chat, or Fed, or any of you guys who know what you're talking about, we can like hop into a film talk mode, and then we can talk about the latest movies or things or techniques that I should know about, share some thoughts that way. And then same thing, I'll do some transition videos for when we're entering into, let's say, editing mode. So for editing videos or photos, you get the point. I want to start adding a bit more of these like dedicated segments so that the stream feels a bit more structured. And I do feel I am at a point now that I can add some structure. Whereas in the past, we were just kind of winging it, free for all, seeing what works, what doesn't. And that's still technically the case. But there's a lot of learnings I've also had where now I feel more comfortable in some of the spaces. So anyways, just keep that in mind. Now this one is technically the right Jeep, but it's got a lot of color in it. I'm not a fan, but we'll stick with this because it's technically the right type of vehicle that we're trying to rig this up with. Can I type in Starlink? Oh, sorry, you guys can't see. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Okay, can't find it. So anyways, we'll keep filling this out later. But yes, thank you guys for being here. I need to close down because I have to do a bit of cleaning and prep for tomorrow. So I appreciate everyone for a fun ass stream as always on day 105. So keep in touch, join the Discord if you're not already there. I'll be messaging away tomorrow, even though I won't be streaming most likely. I will at least, I mean, there's a chance I will stream, but most likely I won't. But feel free to join in. I will be sharing some quick updates, photos, videos of what's happening for you guys there. So, all right. Thank you guys. Thanks for being here. I will see you guys on the next stream. Cheers.